some message like uh, details being validated. For now, I'm doing this. I will explain this guy. So there is form data. This is handle form submit. State handle form submit and this message. This state find the state. This is the form action. To provide for this action equal to form action. This guy will be passed here and this is going to come. Whereas for the submit button, have some const pending use action state. Okay, let us reload this console. So when I click on submit, details have been validated. It is not getting delayed. I'll say, okay, first of all, let us see what actually the form data we are going to get. And one more thing, the reason why it's not reading the data is every form we know that it should have a name attribute, name equal to some username. This guy name is password, and this guy name is age, and this guy name is email. Reload the page. This is how it is. Once I click on submit, but if at all I have to read the name here, we say that console.log form data dot get username. In the same way, form data got get password, age, and email. Let us see whether it is coming or not. So I say user test says some password is something, user is equal to 20, mail equal to abc@gmail.com. Once I click on submit, you see I could able to read all the data. Whatever the data user is giving, I could able to read it by using something called as form data. But by default, this is just every time it is just showing like submit. Instead of that, whenever I click on that guy, it has to go to something called as submitting. After some time, it has to come back to the submit. The reason is we are actually Nothing we are doing. We are not sending the data to the server or we are not doing anything. That is the reason it is directly saying. So to make it as a delay, I simply say await, new promise, resolve, and I'm putting something called as, you can simply say R, say some R. Okay, I'm just putting some promise so that forcefully waiting for 2 seconds. I'm forcefully making the delay for 2 seconds. As we already know, if at all we are using await method, we need to do something called as async calls. So we can use the await keyword only within the async methods. Now, when I save this guy, come back and reload the page. Now, once we reload, when I click on submit, why this guy is not? Oh my God. I have not imported this guy. Use action has been imported, but the use action state. Okay, use action state got imported, but why I'm using the action state here? This by should be use. This should be use form state, which is actually coming from React-DOM. Action state is coming from the React, use form state is coming from the React DOM. Now, once you reload the page, you see here, whenever I click on this submit, it has to turn into use form state. I'm getting this pending message. If it is pending, submit. Okay. Let us put this guy. Why this pending message is not coming for me? Why the pending message is not coming? We are using the submit button. Use form state. React 19 form pending state. You see, these are the two new hooks which are being supported along with the action. That's it. Struck. Pending use form status. That is what we use form status. I was using the wrong hook. Okay. So now once we reload the page, you see when I'm clicking on submit, you see it is turning as submitting. I mean, it is in progress. After 2 seconds of time, it is automatically, you see earlier it is submitting. After 2 seconds of time, I'm getting the status from the server, from the form saying that it got submitted. Okay, so this is the very simple form what we have created using something called as forms. Let us see what are the steps we have done. The very first step what we have is, I mean, this guy, I had just added this, but anyway, the very first step what we have done is we created a very simple form. Under that, the submit form is a separate component. Under this form, we already know that every input element should have a name as a mandatory attribute, name as a mandatory attribute with the corresponding value for this. Now, anytime we are going to submit this form, what is getting invoked here? Form action is the one which is getting invoked. So how you're going to define the form action? The form action is going to be a callback method, which will be a reply from your use action state. For the use action state, we need to specify the custom handler of your form submit. So this is the piece of custom method what I have written, which will be invoked automatically whenever there is an action being happen on your form. Are we clear? Okay, for the form, anytime an action implies a click action is going to happen, this is the method which is getting invoked. Handle form submit here. Now, what is this message? What is this message object here? This is the type of object what I am expecting from you. Now, this is the previous state. This is the previous state what you're going to have, and this is the type of structure what I'm expecting from you. You see, it is going to return something called as some message details have been validated. Okay, you see, this is the key what I'm going to have. For example, I'm saying something called as some message. Then in that case, he is expected to return the same type of structure. Why the reason we are doing this? After we do the handle form submit, after we do some validation or custom things and all, what is the message you would like to show back to the user? Now here, I would like to say some li. The form status is hyphen something called this state dot message. You see here, I'll say something called a state dot message. Now, once you come back and reload the page, you see form status. What is the status? Once I click on submit, whatever the message which I'm receiving from the server, it is saying something called as details being validated. Now here, I'm going to check the condition. If uh, username. Okay, instead of manually reading all this data, let us make it as a JSON object. I say user data is equal to a piece of JSON object. Username is so and so, password is so and so, age is so and so. Now I don't need to say console. So I'm reading in the form of a JSON object. Now I want to check a condition. If the username dot if the username is equal to empty or so and so, what I'm returning here, please fill. This is not the case. Then in that case, what I'm going to do, I'm going to return something called as details being validated. And here, instead of username, I'll say user data dot username, user data dot password, user data dot age, user data dot email. Now, once you save this guy, come back and you see here, once we reload the page. Now, I say that I'm not passing the age here. When I'm clicking on submit, what actually it is mentioning? It is saying that please fill all the details correctly. You're missing something. Now I say some Raj, password something, age so and so, ABC. Now when I say submit, you see include at the rate email address is missing because we have mentioned it as input type equal to email. Whenever you say input type equal to email, for sure it is expecting something called as at the rate. I say at the rate gmail.com. Okay, once we click on submit, you see now it is saying that details have been validated. Are we clear? So this is the state message which we are going to get from your handle form submit. Now, instead of doing all this, can we put something called as required field? It's up to you. I say something called as required. If you make it as required, it doesn't even allow you to submit itself. Now, when I make it as required, you see when I'm reloading the page, when I click on submit, here itself it will stop you. It doesn't even go to the form submit. Are we clear? So this is how we are going to handle the forms. Very simple. Repeating again. First thing, we are going to create a form. Under that, mandatorily name attribute. On the top, if you make it as required, if you make it as max is so and so, minimum is so and so. For example, age. I'll say max is equal to something called max equal to say some 50. Minimum is equal to say something called as 20. Like this. So anytime you miss this instead of this, then it is going to throw us an error for you. Okay. So first thing what we have done is we created a form tag. Under that list of all the input elements, and for all the input elements we mentioned something called as name attribute, and on the top we are putting either it is required or not required or whatever the patterns. If you want, you can just put it over there. Now after this guy, what I'm doing is this form action, where this form action is coming, this form action is coming from something called as use action state. Use action state, use form status, and this action are the three main features which are being introduced from your React 19. So that this guy use action state, we are going to pass what is the handle form function. This is the handle form submit function. Under this, you put whatever the logic you wanted. Reading the data, sending to the server, sending to the API, anything you want, you can keep it. The reason why I have added line number 14 is to forcefully add a delay, because otherwise it will just take some microseconds of time. You see, for example, if I don't add this comment, if I don't add the delay, you see here, for example, user age, something called as some 30, mail abc@gmail.com. Okay, now when I click on the submit, you see, automatically, you see, whenever I'm clicking submit, it is turning into submitting and automatically coming into submit. You see here, observe it clearly. Okay, you see here when I'm clicking on submit, it is turning into submitting and automatically turning into submit. Why the reason? I mean, just fraction of seconds it is coming. That is the reason I'm delaying this. Wait. Okay, because after you get this return state for this submit, it will be automatically getting this pending state. Pending is the state which will be automatically maintained by your React by using something called as use form state hook, use form status hook. Now these guys will track the form saying that whether it is been submitted. If it is submitted, it will be something called as true. If it is not submitted, it will be something called as false. So based on that value, I am saying whether it is submitting. If the pending is true, yes, submitting. If the pending is false, no, it is submit. Okay, so that is how I'm tracking the value, and I could able to show something called a submit or submitting. Now you see the advantage what we have is at a time I could able to read all the values. Now if I say console.log something called as user data. Okay, come back, reload the page. I say user age something called as some 20 abc gmail.com. When I click on submit, you see data has been validated and I could able to read all the data at a time. That was not the case earlier. Earlier, in order to read all the input elements, we were manually writing on change event for every other input element. Now I don't need to do that. Those all data is coming as part of the form data. Okay. Any questions now? I see some questions. Uh, could you please check your internet, sir? Is it breaking for everyone, guys? Voice, Avinash? Is it breaking everyone? Clear, right? Yeah. So what is JSON.stringify use state? So I'm not doing anything here. The reason why I have added this JSON.stringify is so that you could able to see what is the status it is there. You see on load of the page. What is the status I have? Initial state what I have is just a message. Because if you see at line number 30, what is the default state I have passed? I'm saying that, boss, the response what I need to get from this form handle submit is message with the empty string. So that is what I'm getting. To just see this guy, I have added. Other than that, you can simply skip this. Okay, as we already know that we cannot directly bind a JSON object to the JSX. To avoid that, I have directly, to skip that part, I have made it as JSON.stringify. Other than that, nothing else. Anything else? Unmute. Okay, let me. Yeah, please unmute yourself if you want to speak out. Before that, Ganesh, in real time, are we using this approach for form validation or any other? This is the best approach, the most simplest, Ganesh. If you remember, in my last class, I mentioned that earlier, before 19, we used to depend upon the third party libraries. Okay, we used to depend upon the third party libraries. Let me show you. For example, npmjs.com. So we used to depend on something called as Formic. Formic is the third party library which we used to depend upon in order to handle the form data to read easily and okay, Formic directly will go. It's a third party library. Build forms in React without this TS. Okay, you see, like, boss, if we directly use the forms, it is like almost a TS for you. It's like hell lot of process we used to go. Up to where? Up to React 18. You know, from React 19, people stopped making use of this formic. Because from React 19 itself is providing a very good way of reading the data. You know, like here, you see, formic is a predefined component what we were using. Initially, we have to pass what is the initial values, what is the validate, every other thing we have to do that. Comparatively, at least in formic, it is okay. But if it is React 18 forms, it is again a piece of like hell lot of job. But now here directly we are doing just using two new hooks what we have, which is use action state and use form status. By using these two new hooks, we could able to easily do that. You tell me what is the complexity we have here? No, but earlier there is a lot of complexity. Okay, so this is the best approach, Ganesh, to answer your question.
Okay,
Why we
sir.
use form? Go ahead.
Yeah, go up top. That method will have two parameters. Does that require pre-state and
Okay.
form data?
Okay. So before that, first of all, that's a good question. What he's saying is handle form submit. This is the method what we have written in order to handle whenever there is a submit action. Okay. This guy is getting two parameters. One is the previous state. Let's have a look on what actually the previous state is. Console.log. This is the previous state. Okay. Let's have a look on this. Once we reload the page, reload it. I say user age is 20, email is abc@gmail.com. Once I click on the submit, what is my previous state? It was message so and so. Now I click on this again test. I say password, something called as hello. I say 10, email equal to say some abc@gmail.com. When I click on this submit, you see action. Here we have mentioned that minimum should be 20 to 50. So I say 30. When I click on this submit, you see what is my previous state? This is my details been validated. This previous state is a predefined object which will tell you before submitting the form, what was the previous action? If the previous was invalid, you will get the same within your previous state. If the previous was valid, you will get the same thing. I mean, it is just giving an extra information for you when you submit it, what was the previous state? As simple as it is.
Okay, got it.
Clear? And form data, obviously, we know this is the object which is actually holding the data what user is entering. Okay?
Yes, yes. One more thing. Do we need to keep the same names as you mentioned, or we can
These
give it as
guys,
yes,
these two
yes,
parameters you're saying?
yes,
Okay, first, before answering that question, is it is actual parameters or formal parameters? Is this is actual parameters or or formal parameters? Come on,
might be
anyone?
formal.
It is not might be, it is formal. Come on, actual parameters is, for example, I say function add values a1 comma a2. Okay, this is what we have. Now here I say add values here 20 comma 30, or else here I say a comma b, and I say where a is equal to say some 30, where b is equal to say some 22. Can I say that a comma b are parameters here? Yes. A1, A2 are parameters here? Yes. Now, what is the difference between these two parameters? Here, A, comma B are actual parameters, actual values what you're passing. The time you are invoking the method, values, the values what you pass, those are called as actual parameters. The time you are defining the function, parameters, whatever you pass are formal parameters. Now you tell me, here, is it is mandatory that should be A1 or can I say B1 also?
Okay, yes, so we can
I
give
can
it.
do. Can I say something called as some Prasad here? Yes. Now
Yes,
you guys tell me, instead of this previous state, I'll say something called as some Prasad. Does it work? No or yes? Yes,
yes,
because it's
yes.
a formal parameter, boss. You give whatever the name you want. To make it relevant, to make it relative. Clear, everyone? Okay,
Sir,
next. Uh, go ahead, please.
sir, kindly explain after the submissions
Ask
where
any
the
question.
data is coming once again. I totally confused.
After the submission.
Hmm. How to work? Yes,
Okay,
from
okay. First thing, whenever user clicks, okay, I'm going the flow. Okay, whenever
yes, yes,
user clicks on this submit button, this is the button which is part of this form tag. Obviously, this is the action which has to be invoked. What is the action? It is a form action method what we have invoked. Where this form action is coming from? This is coming from your use action state handle form submit. Indirectly, this is the method which is getting fired. Are we clear up to this step? Whenever
yes,
we are clicking on this submit button, as this submit button is part of this form tag, it is invoking its form action, where this form action is coming from the handle form submit, which is this method. And when this method is getting fired, these guy is automatically coming with two parameters. Here, manually, we are not reading every input value. All the input values within the form tag are binded in the form of a form data, and it is already been given for you. So that is the one best part you have. So whenever you are coming at line number 6, you automatically know what was the previous state of your form tag and what is the current form data user has filled it. Now it's up to you. Now you have the data. Now you can see that, I mean, whatever the validation, I'm reading all the data into JSON object. Now here, I want to send it to the server. Do it at line number 16. I want to validate the data. Do it over here. After doing all this, now you need to return a state back to the form, saying that what is the state of the form? Is it is filled? Is it is having errors? Is it is form successfully submitted to the server? Those all things we are going to do. That is what we are going to return as an object. And this is the return which will be going like a state value. And that is the state value what I'm showing to the user, saying that, boss, what is the current state of the form? On the top, along with this, your button is going to get something called as form status, whether it is in a pending state or a non-pending state. If it is pending, at least you can show that loading spinner, right? I mean, either you can show loading spinner. In my case, what I have done is, I just see here when I'm clicking on submit, I was showing something called as this submitting. You see, when I click on submit, I was showing something called as submitting. Instead of you want to show a loading spinner, show it, boss. I mean, you already have. The advantage is this is a variable which is automatically coming from the use form status hook, which is automatically tracking the status of the form. The time user clicked on this action, the time from line number 6 to line number 27, it is tracking and it is passing it as a pending value to the button, based on which you can show loading or etc. stuff. Did that answer your question? The flow?
Here in JS, we are like creating an object for form data. Like form data is equals to new form data type. And then we are calling form data dot get any password or anything. Now here directly we are writing form data. How it is fetching like form data, all that.
That is what we are getting, right, Avinash? Now, if I say that, if you manually go and read the data from input elements, why do you come over here? That is what I'm saying. When we click on this form action, it is invoking this handle form submit. Use action state is automatically passing the data. Whatever the data you have passed, you have entered in the input elements, it's already part of form data. Form data is a predefined object, which is automatically coming for you.
Okay, it is
Now you just
predefined.
need
We
to pull
can't
the
change
data.
it. We can't change that name. Just say
Which form? This guy.
that
I mean, form data in the sense it's an object. I just discussed. It is a formal parameter. I say something called as user data. Is that fine now?
Okay.
You could put whatever the name you want. The reason is the data is in the. You guys know what do you mean by form data in your JavaScript? There is a predefined object called as form data. Okay, the same form data coming over here. So we cannot read direct values here. It is not an object. I cannot say form data dot username. You cannot do that. It has to be form data dot get username. Then only you're going to pull the data. Now I'm keeping into my own custom object. No. Instead of doing this guy, for example, I say Axios dot post is the method, and I want to pass all this data to the server. You see, directly form data also you can pass it. It's up to you. Or you can pass this, because if I pass form data, server also will receive as a form data. He has to say form data dot get. Instead of this, I want to pass it as a JSON object. This is how we'll do. Axios dot whatever the URL you have, comma, what is the data which you want to pass. As simple as it is. Am I clear?
Yeah, sir, in the line number.
Avinash, is it still a question or clear?
Yes, sir, clear, sir.
Okay. Next,
Sir,
anyone else? Any other questions?
Hello, sir.
yes, sir, in the line number.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Okay, so this function is handle form submit. It is user defined function, right?
It is.
Yes. So if it is a user defined function, so we are going to decide which parameters are going to be passed here, means previous state and form data, right? So if we want, we
Yes.
can pass one more means parameter over here, right?
The thing is,
Okay.
here user handle form submit agree that it is a user defined function. What is her question is, boss, if it is my own defined function, I'll say previous state, I'll say form data, I'll say ABC, I'll say PQR, I'll pass it, right? Yes, you can pass it. But the only thing is, this is a callback method will be called by use action state. You tell me here, we are the one who is defining this user handle form submit. Are we invoking anywhere here, or are we passing it as a parameter? Sonali,
Yes,
are
we
we
are passing
invoking or
as a
we?
parameter for
We are-
use actions.
Exactly. So when we are passing it as a parameter, this will be invoked by this guy. When
Okay.
this guy is invoking this guy, he will be passing only two parameters. Obviously, you will be getting this. No, even though you say A comma B comma C, it is not going to throw any error, but they won't be having any data inside.
Got it.
Because
Thank you.
this guy is only passing,
Sir,
where is
your
it?
voice is
This guy
breaking.
is only passing two values to that method.
That means you can accept accept
Uh,
Sir, your voice is breaking, sir.
the clear, so no. Okay.
Sir, your voice is
I
breaking.
think the issue is with my internet. Yeah, 1 second, guys. He has not connected. One minute, guys. I'm checking with the internet. I still see the internet signal is very low. I'm just asking the admin guys. Yesterday, who all are there in the class? Yesterday, who all have come to the class? 1, 2. You're not checking your Telegram messages, ma'am. So please check it before you come. I mean, I feel bad you guys coming to the class and again going back. That is not nice. Please, Arey, chal.
Sir, I just want to confirm that yesterday when we joined at 7:30, it was mentioned that today no class. So that's why
Yeah,
I
that's
missed.
fine. But I mean, before joining, at least, I mean, online it is fine. But offline, guys, I mean, they have visited office, and when they get to know that no class again going back. So that's where I myself felt bad, people coming to class and again going back. So please make sure before starting from your home, right? Please check your Telegram. If I have any update, I'll make sure I'll update at least before a hour of time. Otherwise, if I have an option, I would have done day before itself. But that was all of sudden, so I have done that. But please check before you come.
So yesterday
Sir,
there was no
tomorrow
class.
Sorry, ma'am.
tomorrow do we have a class, sir, because of New Year?
Come on, ma'am. You're talking about New Year and you're saying that tomorrow some be active on it. Okay. So what
Tomorrow
about
do we
you
have a
guys?
class, sir?
Okay. So you guys tell me tomorrow do we need a class?
Yes, sir.
Tomorrow.
Usually we are not available tomorrow, sir.
Thank you so much. I'm also not available along with you. Okay. I mean others. Do we still need a class for tomorrow?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
You guys are not celebrating for 31st night?
But for morning class we can attend, sir. In the night we will enjoy.
Come on, night you're spending it 1, 2, and again morning you want it and no, right? A lot of people are along with me. Who all are yes? Maruti, yes. Ajitesh, yes. Karthik, yes. Only three. Offline? No. No class. Half no or full no? Only one? Remaining, you all want to come to class? Very good. Two no's. Boys? No, very good. Remaining three? Don't scold him. He's with me. Okay. We'll see maximum. I mean, what I feel is we don't disturb these days. But again, to compensate this guy, I will say like, I mean, maybe on weekend or so, we'll take some extra class. Okay. So that will be fine. These are like very special days, never come again. So enjoy to the extent. I mean, again, when you're enjoying, you should not be saying that, no, I need to sleep early and in the morning I have a class. So that should not be the case. I mean, along with me also, I also do the same. Again, morning I have a class. I should not have that thought. Mostly we'll take a leave tomorrow. And I mean, from management side, they are okay to take the class, but I feel like we'll skip for tomorrow and I'll make sure I'll compensate this day in any of the day. Okay. Okay, thank you, Sri. It is you asked and I gave it. If management asked, I'll put your name itself.
Thank
Okay.
you very much, sir. Actually, for us, no, 31st night in US, so we can't able to make it.
Oh, you are in US, ma'am. That is the reason. Might be your talking speed, but it is too far distance, so it is coming very slow for us.
Okay.
Okay, nice. Okay. Any more questions, guys, regarding the forms? Coming back to this.
Yes, sir, I have one more
Go ahead,
doubt.
please.
Yeah, sir, actually, in the line number 36, in the user handle format submit, like it's a user-defined function.
Okay.
So, yeah, once it's called, sir, like once go to that function once, please.
It is getting called. Okay, it is coming to this guy. Okay.
But actually, how that function know the second argument should be the form data?
Okay. For example,
Yeah.
I say that, how do we pass user-defined functions? For example, I can say that I say function add values. This is where your JavaScript basic should be super strong, guys. Okay, I say A comma B comma I say some custom message. Okay, now when I'm saying add values, I'm saying 10 comma 20 comma I am saying a callback method, something like this. Okay, now here can I say custom message with something called as 10 comma 20 comma 30? Can I do this? You see here, what is this custom message? User, I mean, there is a method. A is 10, B is 20, whereas third parameter is a method what we are passing there. Now, when a method is coming for me, can I invoke the same method for any number of parameters? It's up to me now. Come on, I can. You see, this is what I'm doing. I am
Yes, sir.
invoking this custom message with 10, 20, 30. That's it. So, I mean, if I'm returning this guy to you, when I say return this custom message, now I say where ABC is equal to so and so. Now I can call this ABC with something called as A1, comma A2, comma A3. I can do this. Now, if you ask me a question, how do you pass this A1, A2? Because this is the message. When he is returning, he is passing with me some 3 parameters. But you are passing, I mean, you are passing only one simple method here. Why you are passing, I mean, how it is catching in the sense? That is what your callback methods are. You can pass one of the method to one of the function. That method can be invoked by that function with any number of parameters. Did that answer your question now?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah,
Got it, right?
Yeah, that means in the use action state itself only, it like returns.
Exactly. You are passing the definition of this function. Now, this is the function it is coming. Now, he is returning one of that function with parameters, whatever has to be passed. Okay?
Got it, sir. Thank you.
Any more
but-
questions? Go
So,
ahead,
but
please.
actual parameters are not taken there, na, sir, in 36 line.
Line number, please.
36, sir.
At 36, no, we are not passing parameters. You see, this is instead of this, you can even define the function like this also. Is it a definition or invoking?
Invoking.
Come on. Is it a definition or invoking? If it would have been a invoking, we would have done this. We are just passing the variable name there. We are not passing we are passing the definition as a parameter there to the use action state. So for the use action state, you are passing 2 parameters. One is the function and one is an object. Clear?
Okay. Yes, sir. Yes.
Got it? Yeah. Next. Any more questions, please?
So what is the previous state do, sir? What is the use of that?
The previous state is a object which will tell you what was the previous state of the form. For example, user has submitted this form. Initially, he has filled all the all the valid data. Now, previously it was invalid data. Now again he is submitting. Before submitting, if you want to talk, talk to me, not between you. It is really disturbing. Okay, so before, whenever I click on submit, you will be having the previous state. What was that object earlier and what is that object currently? Okay, now if you see, for example, on load of the page. Okay, coming over here, on load of the page, I'm giving some user data. I'm saying some user age. I have added some action, right? What was that? Fill all the details correctly. Assume like username and all that is fine. For example, I'll put some another condition, else if user age, I think user age also I have already given, because I already given this range, right? Okay, I will remove this range and I will manually add it. Okay, now let us reload the page. Now I say user test, user age, I am giving something called as 10. Email ID ABC. Okay, observe it clearly. When I am clicking on submit, what was my previous state? Message was empty because before this, user didn't validated this state. So my previous state was MSG equal to so and so. You see, there is no state. It was an empty state, on load state. Later, what it has become, user got an error saying that boss, your age should be greater than 20 and 50, boss. This is the state currently now. Now I come over here, I fill this guy, say some 44, email so and so. Now, when I'm clicking on submit, what was my previous state? Before clicking on this guy, user has gone through an error, something called as age should be greater than so and so. Okay? Did that answer your question? What is previous state?
It's just a message.
It is
What
not
is the
just a
meaning of
message.
previous state?
It is an
The
object
form
of
data
state,
previous
boss.
state is meant.
Here, only not a message. You can put whatever the value you want. For example, along with this message, I will say that error field is age. Age is the guy who was having an error field. Now here, I won't put anything. Okay, by default, I'll put it as MSG. I'll say error field as age. So here, details been validated. So here, error field is all the fields having an error. Okay, now let us save this guy, come back and reload the page. Now, I click on submit. Age is say some 22. I click on submit. This guy is abc@gmail.com. I click on submit. You see, previous state was empty. But now, later, I got an error. Details been validated. Okay, I'll say age equal to say some 11. So and so. ABC. Once I click on submitted, previous state is what? Details been validated. Now you see, you got the age as invalid, right? Now you see the state. Okay, I click on submit. You see under the previous state, I'm getting the error field. I'm getting the message also. I mean, you can put anything you want. It is not only message. You get some message, you get some state value using which we could able to show the result back to the user. Form submitted, data being sent to the server, form is being validated, any type of message you want that you can get it from this state.
So can we keep the form data as well?
Yes, if you want to keep that form data also inside this, keep it. I say comma, form data is going to be a form data. Then any data you want, you can keep it. That state is the value which will be coming to your form again in the form of this state.
Sir,
One
previous
second.
message where
Shrikant, are you clear on this? Sorry, Shashikant.
Yeah.
Clear? Can I go forward?
Yes.
sir,
Yes. Okay, Manish, go
previous
ahead.
message where they are stored the memory, where they store in the memory system. Actually, store the memory, and after that, the submission they get provide
It is
the
the same memory itself. You know what is happening is, for example, I'll say, assume like I have a paper. Okay, Okay, let's take a practical example. I'm sitting in the room. Students are sitting outside. I am taking interviews. Now, say for example, she has come first. I took her name. Ma'am, what is your name? Some ABC. Okay. Now I took her interview. She went back. Now second student is coming. Now if someone asks, who is the previous student you have? Now in what memory I'm taking? I'm taking two variables here. In one variable, I'll say that previous student is ABC, current student is PQR. Now the third student is coming. I will remove that previous guy. Okay, I'm not tracking it. I left it. I'm only keeping the who is the recent. Okay, ABC, PQR, and XYZ. When XYZ is coming, I only have PQR value. Initial ABC is not at all there for me. So it is not like memory. It is if it is would have been in a memory, then we would have been a track of all the values will be there. No, only the previous state I'm showing you. I'm not saying that initially it started with there 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not showing it. Just I'm storing into another. I'm copying into another variable and I'm giving both of you so that you take your action accordingly. Did it answer your question, Shashikant? Sorry, who asked this? Manish.
Yes.
Any more question?
Sir, in the line number 36.
Coming back. Okay, line number 36. Okay.
Not 36, 44.
44. Okay.
Here we are passing message, sir. It is in object format.
Actually, it is just an empty object also works. I'm saying that this is my initial state of my form. That's it.
Okay. Now, sir, you told that here what we are passing as message, and in the above function also it should be same, like in
No, it is recommended that boss, this is the, in general, right? We say that boss, message is what I'm expecting. Okay. At the same time, error field is what I'm expecting. That is what we generally need to pass. From this line number 44, if the 44 is not like this, can you tell me what is the data? For example, some third party person is coming. Can he say that what type of validation state value coming from the form action? No, right? He will feel like an object will come, but under that object you might have 100 number of fields. How do you get to know? That is the reason in general we specify that, okay, this is the form what we are submitting. This is expected to throw an object which is of the structure, message, error field and form data. These are the three values what I will get it. Now, accordingly, you will understand this. Otherwise, if this is not there, this is only for the user defined purpose. Now, here I say instead of message, I say message 1. Does it make any problem? No. You say message 1. Here you are saying message, not at all making a problem. This is just for us to make and understand that what type of data we are getting from, what type of structure coming from this handle form submit button or for handle the form submit method. Am I clear?
Yes.
This is completely optional for us.
So, sir,
Okay. One second. Pravath has a question. Why we need this previous state? So in general, right, Pravath, what actually happens is, for example, there are some cases where we will disable the fields. Okay, for example, username is given, password is given, age is given, email is given. Assume like user age is not being given by the user. He click on submit. Password, we will ask him to, okay, boss, enter the age. So second time he is coming, this previous state will tell me what was the error he was having previously. Age was the error he is having previously. So I will concentrate on age only there. That is the reason we generally use this previous state. Otherwise, not mandate. Clear, Prabhat?
Sir, line number 44, use action state, it will accept only two parameters.
Line number 44,
Yeah,
it will take, that is what we discussed, right? Currently, the whatever the callback we will pass to this action state, he is invoking this form state. While he is invoking, he is giving only two parameters. You see, this is the definition. Okay, it is taking the previous state and it is taking the form data. No, I will say something called as ABC. I will say something called as PQ. It doesn't throw any error. But if you say what is the console.log, what is the ABC value? What is the PQR value? You will see something called as undefined. Why so? When he is invoking, he is only passing two data for you. One is the previous state and what is the current form date. Remaining all, obviously, those all will be undefined. Yes, ma'am? Clear?
Yeah. Sir, another thing, the second parameter is of object type, right? In 44.
Second parameter is the
Line 44.
object, what is expected from you. And this is the initial previous state. This is the initial previous state. Okay, first time you are coming into this use handle function. What is the previous state for you? The structure what you pass itself is the previous state. Yes or no?
Yes.
That's it. Did that
So,
answer your question? Yeah.
so sir, this one, the object which you're passing like message, like we can pass any of the key value pairs.
Mhm.
Is it?
Yes, it is, right? That is what I said, right? You can even pass it as empty object also. The only reason why I'm passing is anyone who looks into your code, by looking at line number 42, you need to understand that what is being thrown back to you from that handle function. To just get to know that we are passing this structure. Otherwise, it is not at all mandatory to you pass a different structure. There is some different function. Structure is getting back for you. No, not at all. It will work as it is.
It is
You know,
always an object.
it should be an object. It should be an object.
And sir, above you're using await and promise, right? So do we have any alternative for that?
Set timeout.
Line number 19.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Instead of promise,
Okay.
any alternatives? Like, say, promise is the, older one.
Instead of promise, you tell me what is the way I can stop line number 19 and it will not go to line number 20. That's a very good question. What she's saying is you have used something to pause this line so that you go to line number 20 only after 2 seconds. Other than await, what else you can use? Obviously, await is the one. And await has to be used with the combination of promise, or is there anything else? Only promise. I can say await, wait for that promise to get executed. So you tell me, other than that, what is the option you have? Nothing else. Otherwise, you know what you have to do? You have to put a set timeout. Under that callback function, you have to do this. That's a very lengthy process. Instead, this is a professional way of making a promise to wait. We have created a dummy promise, which will wait for 2 seconds of time. Clear, Swati?
Like, say, promise is the initial thing, and after that we are using async and await. So generally, sir, in real time, are we going to use this promise all the time?
No. In real time, we don't use this, right? In real time, instead of using this guy, I will say this guy. I will actually, in real time, I will take this data, I will send it to the server. Now I'll say, await this guy, because this Axios also will return a promise for me. I am sending the data to the server. After I get the response, then I will throw back to the user. So wait for this. Here, I don't have any of the server URL. That is the reason I was taking this as an example. In real time, we do line number 14, not line number 19. I mean, one thing is, in your real time, you never force the application to get slow. Okay, we are there here to make the things faster. Why do you forcefully make this guy to 2000 seconds? The only reason why I'm using is so that I can show you the difference. Initially, what was the state? After clicking on submit, it is validating, submitting. Later, it is going to submit. To show the difference, I have shown you. But in real time, we don't do this. In real time, I'll directly go to the await Axios. Now, server is taking 20 seconds, you have to wait. Server is taking 1 second, you have to wait. Clear, ma'am?
Yeah, sir, coming to validations, like, are we going to use any third-party libraries?
In at least your React 19, you don't need to do. If you really have to do that, there is something called as a library, Yup library. Yup is one of the third-party library, which is majorly used in order to handle validations, form validations. But for example, is that okay? I will show you how do you do the password validation. For example, my requirement is how simple it is. I'll show you. I want to take some password validation where total 8 characters should be there, one uppercase should be there, one numeric value has to be there. Those are all the things. You know how simple it is in your React 19 is directly come to your, where is the password? This guy, right? Here, you simply say some pattern. You put your regular expression over here itself and put something called as some title. What is the pattern? What you're mentioning? That's it. Okay, let me get some pattern instead of me writing that React 19 forms password validation with pattern. I'll just copy that pattern itself instead of me writing that complete pattern. You see, this is how the pattern what I'm taking. Pattern is the regular expression. You see here, this is the pattern being added for this. And this is the title, what we are adding. So the pattern is it must contain at least 8 characters, one uppercase, one lowercase, one number, and one special character. You see, this is the pattern done. You don't need to put any type of huge validation. That is the regular expression what I have already added. Now you come back here, you reload the page. You see here user test I have added. When I click on submit, you see automatically it is saying your password is not matching with this. Why should I go with the dependency of the third party libraries again? So that's what I mean. Too much of changes being done in case of your React 19. So if at all we have to do this earlier, patterns, yes, earlier also it has been supported. But reading this value, doing it manually, we used to do. But now you don't need to. Even in email also, directly I'm saying email, it is automatically doing the email validation. I don't need to put anything. If you have to specifically say that .co, .in, something like that, then you will be automatic. Once you have this data, now you can validate, right? If the data is in your hand, how do you want to validate? It's up to you. Is that clear, Swati?
Sir, not even required to import that YAP library? Directly it is okay?
No. Right now, I haven't used the YAP library. I was telling you that, earlier, let me show you if I have my previous code. UI full stack, UI classes, React JS, shopping. Okay, let me see. If you're not talking, please go into mute. Do you see forms here? Forms demo. Forms demo. Okay, I was showing, okay, for them also it is React 19 only, right?
Yeah.
Then,
I think, sir, we have to register. It's a very big process. I think.
no. Actually, no. There was an example. I was taking the class.
Sir, why don't you take a separate class and this?
Which one, ma'am?
Like YAP and the now 19 different.
Why? We don't need it, right?
Sir, in case, sir, now all the projects will be implemented using only 19. Like, in case any, in real time, we need to work on project React 18. Definitely.
Yeah, that's also a valid thing. We'll see. Okay, that's a good part. I can show you one example where I can go with older forms with the YAP, unformic. But where was that? Here, I'll say form. Prasad, formic, chase. You see, this is how we have done. This is one of the form. You see, one simple form where I was validating name is mandatory. Okay, age should be minimum 6, so and all. I was using this YAP as a library in order to validate this data. Okay, and the form is on submit. Manually we were doing. On submit is the manual job. Again, formic.handle submit, and formic.handle submit is, this is the formic what we used to go. So this is one of the example we used to go, which is manually reading all the data. And that too, as I was using formic, it was not manually reading the data. But again, depending on the third party library is an extra job for me, right? I'm importing their library into my application, I'm making your application heavy. Okay.
Sir,
Anyway,
Formic is only for submitting, right?
Formic is a third-party JavaScript library, can be used with any of the framework or any of the library that is capable of reading the form data. That's it. Without you manually doing it, it will automatically help in reading the data for you. Yup is a library which can be added along with the formic, used to validate the data. Yup is a simple third-party library, JavaScript library. You can create a simple JavaScript library. Can I use Yup? You can directly do that. So Yup is a library to validate the data, any data, form data, any data, whatever you give. Just for validations, we'll be going with the Yup. Clear, ma'am?
Sir, why the normal form is not sufficient for taking up the form values?
That was these hooks are not there in case of your real time earlier. These new hooks, use state action, use form status, were not supported till 18. Now they have introduced from 19 only. That is the reason you are not manually reading it. Here in case of your form, anything you're doing it manually, no, on click of button, automatically the data is available for you.
This is React 19 feature, right, sir? No,
Yes.
I'm talking about the formic. Without formic, can't we do plain with
Manually? No. We
Only
can use the
form?
plain form. Let me show you plain form also. We have done that. Components, formic. Where is form? React hook form. So if you see here, it is a form? Yes. You see on submit hook form, and for every input value, I was saying input name equal to username, register username, and what is this register? Manually reading this form. You see, this is what manually I used to read, just one simple value. So register is the method what I used to call, and manually I was reading the data. There is nothing like a state variable which can directly read all the data from your form earlier in React 18. Clear, ma'am?
That means we have React hook form as well as formic. So we can go with the React hook form instead of formic also. Right?
Yeah. Obviously, plain React form also. Right now, the way you have gone, I have gone only with the forms. I have not gone with the formics, etc. In the same way, in 18 also, you can go with the form, not mandate. React never mentioned that formic is the one which you have to use. Formic was a solution for us. Formic said that, boss, I can swipe your TS by whatever the manual things you are doing in your React 18. You don't need to do that. I can help you by providing this new feature of your Formic library. But React 19 itself has upgraded. From 19, I have already given this. Now people stop making use of the Formic library. Can we go forward, Swati?
Sir, React hook form, it is supported in 18 or in 19 also?
Come on, React form is everywhere supported.
Yeah, okay.
Everywhere it is supported. I mean, forms can be used from React 1 itself. Forms are supported. But it is keep on adding some small, new features. Like, for example, hooks were initially not there. Later it got added. So like that. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Any more questions? Can I go forward?
So why did you real time?
Sorry, Shri. Go ahead, please.
So in real time, they will keep update React applications because so many changes in a version to version. So how we can recognize that one?
That's a good question. You know, if someone asks you, what is the limitation of your React? Boss, we have a hell lot of bundles of advantages you have. But what are the limitations? What are the disadvantages you have with these libraries? This is the problem. When the versions are keep on changing, hell lot of changes you need to take over. You know, for example, React 17 you have done. I said like I want to go with 18, scrape it. Completely project got scraped and you need to start a new one. So this is the major problems you have with this. Okay, until React 16, there was nothing, only class type of components. I have to start with 17, scrape it out. I mean, completely put all the piece of code into bin. Now we start with the new one. At least 18 to 19, it is not like a scrape. I mean, the previous code is not a scrape, just adding new features. But yes, for example, earlier you have used Formic, etc. and all. Now I have to go with this latest, a bit of working has been done. This is the limitations you can say with these libraries. Okay, so because these are not languages, these are libraries, they keep adding the new features. If you have to do, you have to rework them too. Yes, ma'am.
One more doubt, sir. I mean, with React we have this problem, but with Angular also, do we have same problem, sir? I mean, version to version.
Not just Angular or React or your Next.js, Backbone or Vue.js or Cane.js. Every library has this problem because, like, I mean, because of the competition, I keep on adding these features. Yes or no? For example, React is providing this type of advanced form type of features. Now Angular will check, okay, boss, I also have to provide this. React has come up with this new hooks here. I mean, why these upgradations are coming? Based on the user requirement, I keep on updating myself to provide the best way to the user. So that is the reason whenever you say 19.1, 19.2, 19.3, no major changes. But when version changes, 19 to 20, it is changing, major changes are there. So in that case, not only the React library, every library is having the same limitations. The third party library, whatever you go. That is the reason if the project is working super good, we don't touch it. React 16 project working super good now, you don't need to touch it, it will go. It will be supported because it's a plain JavaScript, it will be keep on going. But if you have to keep on adding new features to the existing project, then you need to upgrade yourself. Okay? Clear, Sri?
Yes, sir.
Any more
Thank you.
questions?
So why did you create a separate component for the button?
That's a very good question, Pallavi. Nice. So why the reason I have created the separate component? You would have added this button itself over here. The only reason I have done is to catch the form status. In order to catch the form status, it is always recommended to make the submit button as a separate button. For example, if you do this guy, let us keep it out over here. Where is the submit button? I'm not going to create a separate button over here. I'm just keeping over here itself, and I track this pending guy over here itself. Okay, let us do that. Why I go with the separate button? I don't have the separate component. Let us come. Where is this? Let us come back and reload the page. I come over here. It's asm30 abc@gmail.com. I click on the submit. Password match. I don't want to go with that at all. Let me remove this for now. Okay. Or else let's try for that. It should have at least 8 characters, one uppercase, one lowercase, one number, and one special character. One uppercase, one lowercase, one number, and one special symbol. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now when I click on the submit, you see the data is getting submitted. But are we catching this state here, the pending state? No, I couldn't able to catch. So in order to do that, it has to be a separate component. Okay, this use form state will be passed only if you make it as a separate component. The button itself will become a separate external component, which will be catching this form status. You cannot catch the form status in the same component where your form data got added. Clear, Pallavi? That's a good call.
So can you scroll down? Just
Sorry?
One more.
Yeah, can you just scroll down? I have one more question about that button.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Yeah, so we are using use forms status. So mostly hook return us the two values, so variable as well as function. So here we are just it's returning us the pending.
This is a Boolean value, what you get, true or false.
Okay, it's written only one value.
Yes, it is not mandatory that every hook has to return 2 parameters, 3 parameters, right?
Okay.
It depends on the particular hook definition. The form static hook has been defined in such a way that it will return a Boolean value which is true or false. That's it. You can check that. For example, this guy, here, I will say this guy. Can I put this guy pending directly? No. The reason is it is a Boolean. I'll say pending dot to string. Okay, now you reload the page. You see here, it is a false. Now when I click on submit, after filling everything, it will become true. Later it will become false. So this is just a Boolean value what you get. Clear, ma'am?
Yeah, thank you.
In the line number 78, why the pending key should be in the like braces?
It's an object structure. Object restructuring.
So that
Used
pending, so that means that pending should be is in that those braces, sir.
Obviously, right? Object destructuring, what we discussed earlier.
Okay.
Okay, this is returning an object. Under that object, we are taking this pending state. Okay.
Sir, it is only a single value, right? Again, why we need to take? Okay, it is in the form of key value, I say.
Obviously, right? For example, if you take this use form status, right? I'll say where I'll say something called as data is equal to use form status. Now I'll say JSON dot stringify this data. Let us see this. Could I able to do that?
Sir, how to identify, sir, actually whether it is written in the object
JSON
form?
dot stringify is not a function. 1 second, ma'am. You see here, it is having pending, it is having data, it is having method, it is having action. Now I don't want all those. I wanted only pending. That is the reason I was using pending. So I was doing the destructuring over here by reading only the pending values. If you want to read the data of the form, that also can be read from this guy. If you want to read what method, get method, post method, you can read it. If you also want to know what is the action which is being invoked, you can do that. Am I clear, Ganesh, with your question?
Yes, sir, I got it.
Okay, Swati, you are asking something. Are you clear, ma'am?
Yeah, like, sir, how to identify what kind of data it is returning, whether it is an object?
This is the best way, ma'am. Honestly, like even I'm not very much clear with what actually is being written. This is the best way. Anywhere you have any question that what these guy is returning, what that guy is returning, keep that into one variable, make it as an object, show it on the page itself. That is the best way to do that.
And line number 11, form data, it is having a get method. Like, can't we modify, are there any other methods which form data is providing?
No, form data is a predefined object, ma'am. If you remember in your JavaScript, there is something called as var data is equal to new form data. This is how we used to go for, right? And how do we read the data? Data dot get so and so. This form data user defined or predefined?
Predefined.
If it is predefined, can I say instead of get my so and so? No, right?
No.
So
Other
that is-
than get method, do we have any other methods I'm asking?
Then again,
Suppose
console
if
the
after getting that form data, like if you, in case if you want to modify that data which is
Why
fetched from this.
once you have this data, okay, you can say form data dot set also. You say form data dot set. You can say what is the username and what is the username and what is the value. You can do this. You see, these all the append method, get method, these are all the things which we have. Those are JavaScript again, nothing to do with your React. Clear, Swati?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, any more questions? Can we pause it, guys?
Sir, why you use UL and LI in that form?
Just for a better look and feel, Ajitesh, it's up to we. It is not at all mandatory that it has to be only UL and all. Only thing is, if at all you're using a form should be the open tag, form should be the closing tag. Under that, every input element should be there. They should have a predefined property, something called as name. That's it. If you don't have name, that will not be read. That is the mandatory thing you have. Under that, you use tables, you use li, you use something else. Only for better look and feel, I have used nothing mandate.
Okay.
Okay. Can I
Sir, no class tomorrow, right?
yeah, I mean, as Sri wanted that holiday, so I will tell the management saying that Sri is the one who initiated and she wanted holiday and we are declaring holiday.
Hello, sir. One small question. Like, if you want to invoke any DB call or something, that any sample snippet.
You tell me from client side, it is really possible to invoke a DB call? Can we directly make a communication from from client?
I mean to say, like, for the user details, you want to do any DB actions, we need to
No, no.
validate.
This is what we have, right? We never have DB action. Instead, we go for a web service. You call this web service. This is a web service for what you're calling. For that web service, you're passing your user data. Done. Now the server will take care of how do we insert into the DB, how do we retrieve from the DB. Those all actions will be done by the web service.
Oh.
Clear? Okay. Let's pause it for today, guys. Have a good day.
Sir, can you please push the code?
Sorry?
Can you please push this code to the...
Obviously, I'll do that. This is the night task what you have. Okay, 31st night task. Okay, wish you a happy new year in advance, guys. Have a good day. Bye for today.
Yeah, happy new year to all in advance. Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir.
I'm also part of that, all right? Okay, thank you all. Have a good day.
Yes, sir. Happy New Year.